Hey guys, welcome back to another video and welcome back to working once again on the beautiful Datsun 280ZX, the ugly duckling of the Z clan, so to speak. But not this car, man. This car's freaking sick. And today, this car's about to level up in a big way in looks because we are putting custom flares onto this beautiful car. So currently, as you guys know, we are running generic flares on the car. We sell them at Two Step Garage. You can grab them on eBay and all that type of stuff as well. And it looks okay. I've been fine with the look. But about 6 months ago, I think, I actually ordered these custom flares made to suit this car. They're so freaking sick. And we just haven't had time to fit them. The Datsun kind of took a back seat as we've been working on all of the other cars, race car, rotary car. But I've finally put aside time to work on the Datsun and actually make it the car that I want it to be. So what we have here, we've got the custom flares, but we've also got a rivnut kit with black hardware with Allen key heads, because instead of using the Tech screws that I have been using to hold the flares on, which isn't the best thing to do, not the tidiest thing to do either, we're going to use the proper tools and the proper hardware that's just going to make it look super tidy. So we've got our rivnut kit, we've got paint, sandpaper, custom flares, and we've also got this rubber sealing that's going to go behind our flares, just to tidy everything up and make it look super good. I'll show you guys the rubber stuff behind the wide body on the pink car. So that's this stuff here that lines the wide body. Now the stuff that I've got for the Datsun isn't as big as this. It looks good on this, but I wanted it to be a bit more subtle on the Datsun flares, so we've got the smaller rubber. So first things first, I've already test fitted the back one. I've already made the holes so that we can go ahead and drill and put the rivnuts in. I've never used a rivnut gun before, so this is going to be a fun wee thing to start with. And then we'll also test fit the front flares as well. But the good thing about these flares is they have this lip on them. Because I want to raise the car up a little bit, like putting in the new tyres has already raised the car up quite a bit, but I'll raise it up a little more. But these have this lip here, so that when you have them up and on, it actually keeps it looking lower, which is nice. Man, these flares are so freaking nice. They actually got contour to the body, which is sick. And so I can raise the car up a little bit and then not have it looking too super high, if you know what I mean, because it's still got the lip, so it all looks nice and the fitment will be on point. So we've got a whole bunch of stuff to do. First things first, I think we'll fit some rivnuts up and kind of see how they work. Alright, so first things first, correct drill bit size for our M6 rivnut piece, and we're going to drill holes in the body of the 280ZX, which is always very scary. But as you can see, I've already drilled holes before because it's had a couple of different sets of flares on it. We've marked our proper holes that we're going to drill with a black marker, and literally, so I've already test fitted the flare with Tech screws, which creates the holes for us, which is the pilot hole, and then of course go ahead and drill the hole. Just like that. So we'll do all of them marked in black. Next up, we've got our M6 rivnut on the tool. Alright, push into the hole. Nice and flush. And we squeeze it. This is really hard to do with one hand, so I'm just going to do it quickly. Undo it. And there is our rivnut insert, which is nuts. I can't believe I've never used these before. Mikey, what are you up to? That's so easy. So I'll go ahead and do it to the rest of them, and then we can go ahead and test fit our flare with the hardware, which is really exciting. I can't believe I haven't done this before. Why have I been using Tech screws, man? Rivnuts are so good. Rookie Mike. Alright, all of our rivnuts are in. That was very easy. Again, don't know why I haven't done this before, but very happy that I'm doing it now. So now we're going to go ahead and test fit the flare onto the body using our new hardware and rivnuts, which is super exciting. So that's the light test fit. Not done up like super tight, but just tight enough to kind of have a look and see how it's going to look. Man, these flares are sick. So old flares, new flares. They do look super nice. Far out. Definitely aggressive looking, which is awesome. So obviously once they're black, they'll look a lot better as well, but pretty happy with that at the moment. So now I'm gonna whip the flare off, and what we're gonna do is actually test fit the rubber now behind the flare. I don't want to be doing that once the flare's painted, because I want to minimize any risk of kind of scratching or chipping any paint on the flare once it's all nicely painted. So we'll get the rubber all done for this corner now, and that way we can go ahead, prep the flares, paint them, and then kind of throw them on. Man, looks so good though. Hell yeah. Awesome. So I'm starting to lay the rubber in there now, and basically all I'm doing is once I get to a bolt, I cut a notch out of the rubber, literally just a square, just up, around, and just slip it in, do it up, like nip it up for a little bit, and then move on to the next one. Just seals it all in, makes it look nice. Alrighty guys, time to prep and paint the flares. So we're gonna 400 sand them, prime them, 400 sand them again, paint them black, and then clear coat them. So let's get it done. You. Everything's primed, and now I've blocked this one back because I primed this one first as a test. It looks awesome. It's going to come up super nice, I reckon. I'm super pumped on it. So, because we didn't even paint the last flares, we just literally bolted them on because I knew that we were going to upgrade them. So I didn't really go to a whole lot of effort with them, but these ones are going to look freaking sick. So we've got our gloss black, so we're going to go ahead, lay down some paint. Alright, just did a quick first coat. Man, it's going to come up so good. Beautiful day obviously today in Melbourne. Sun is out. So it's really perfect conditions for painting, which is great. So I'm going to let that dry. And then I'll go ahead and give it a proper hammer coat. And then let that dry. And then we'll clear coat it. And then it's going to be freaking perfect. Can't wait. Looks so good already. Hell yeah. Alright, last step. Throwing some clear on. Look at that. Beautiful. Came up super nice. So clear coat and then let it dry and we can fit it up to the car. Jesus. That's crazy. These Duplicolor cans, man, they're so good. They come up nice. Like, I wouldn't recommend painting a car with it, but little parts like this, good. Trying not to get them runs. Oh, guys, this, I can see myself in it. That's nuts. Wow, really happy with that. That is absolutely beautiful. Alrighty, so skip forward a little bit. I got a bit ahead of myself, I'm not gonna lie. And I fitted the flare that we painted. And it was freaking hard, especially trying to fit that rubber stuff behind it, but I think I did it alright. And this is what it looks like. So it's not too bad. Pretty happy with the way that the paint came up in the end. I think I could take it off and give it another couple of clear coats, which I probably will end up doing at some point, but definitely looks sick. I think we have to have all of them on to kind of see how the car's going to come up completely. One thing I am going to do is actually have this car resprayed, even though, I don't know if I told you guys, but even though I'm happy enough with the job that I did, it could be a million times better, and this car deserves the absolute best. So at some point we will have this car resprayed in the Bayside blue. Man, those flares do look sick, which will be very cool. But for now I'm going to go ahead and spray the rest of the flares. We need to fit this front one just to kind of finish off the look and see how it all comes together. Alright folks, I've test fitted the fronts because I have to fit them before I paint them, just to make sure it all fits and whatnot, and otherwise if we do it after it's painted and we slip or anything, it scratches, and you don't want any of that to happen. But it looks nice. So just as a comparison, I have actually left the other side of the car completely as it was, with the stretch tires, the old flares, just so we get to look and kind of compare over the course of the transformation. So here's how it was before. I mean, I don't mind these flares other than the fact that they just look a bit cheap and unfinished. Obviously these give it a little bit more of a custom look as well, so I quite like them. I'm a bit of a fan, to be honest, guys. And saying that, I'm actually not stoked on this rubber that's sitting behind these flares that I picked. It's a little small, it's not quite doing the job, so I actually am going to get the P rubber that we've got on the pink car. I'll go buy some tomorrow morning and fit it up behind these flares, because it actually is a bit easier to fit because it has the P. The reason it's called P rubber is because it's got, see this like circular bit here? Essentially, if you look at it from the side, it spells a P. That's why it's called P rubber, like the letter P. So it's actually got that nice big lip, and it slips in. This bit should be slipped in, but obviously, you know, drift car things. Slips in and just tucks up nice on in the join, whereas the other stuff that I got doesn't quite do that. I thought the flare would kind of squeeze in and make it nice, but it's not quite how I want it. Whereas this, obviously with the P, it's perfectly even, right? So I'm going to go get that, and we're going to use that tomorrow morning, which is nice. So I'm going to quickly paint this flare. I'm actually going to chuck some more paint on this flare as well, just because I'm a little bit paranoid and just want, you know, it's nice to have as many layers of paint as possible on the flares to keep them nice and shiny. So we're going to do that, and then tomorrow morning we'll come back and we'll kind of finish the job and see how it all comes together, which is nice because it means the paint gets a chance to actually dry overnight, because it's really risky putting these on with paint that's just been sprayed and only allowed, you know, the last half hour to kind of cure. So alright, change of plans. I cracked the shits and I decided to pull the P rubber out of the pink car, and we're going to test it out on this car. So now you can see what I mean by P, right? Because it's like that, like a P, although that's like a backwards P, but you know what I mean. So we're going to slot it in and kind of see how much different it looks on the flares before we commit to actually buying some. So I've kind of just only done it on half because I wanted to just do a bit of a comparison, but that's like a million times better, and I should have got that rubber from the start instead of trying to try some new stuff. So the old stuff kind of looks like this, but it's just really hard to get even, right? And it's really hard to fit because this has this notch in it, so you literally just slip it in, so it just slips in behind, and then you just do the bolts up and it sits all nice and tight, and it's perfectly even the whole way around. It just looks so much tidier. So yeah, that's a no-brainer. I'm gonna go out and grab that for sure, but I'm happy that we figured that out, because pretty much means that it's gonna make my job way easier when it comes to fitting these other flares as well. So P rubber it is, but good lesson learnt. So this stuff's like 10 bucks a meter, and it's so worth it if you're fitting flares or wide body, just to give it that super smooth look around the arches and keep everything all nice and sealed. So pretty sick. But yeah, so I'm gonna whip these flares up and paint them now, and then we'll call it a day. Alright, so the flares are all painted up. Suss this out. I'm much happier with them this time around. I didn't lay enough clear on them first time, so that's awesome. Obviously the ones for the other side still aren't painted yet. It's a slow process, guys, alright? It's all about taking your time with the stuff and getting it right, but very happy with progress so far. So tomorrow, I'm gonna whip out, get that P rubber, we can get these flares on and see how the car kind of looks, which I'm stoked about. Also just got a word from Damon, who is my fabricator, if you guys didn't know, from GMF Fab, and he has notified me that he has purchased he has ordered all of the turbo stuff for this car, including a brand new ball bearing turbo. So that's coming up in a couple of weeks. I'm beyond excited, man. That's just going to take this car to a whole another level, so definitely turning quickly into the dream car that I've envisioned and pictured. But I'll see you guys in the morning. We're going to continue putting these flares on. Hell yeah. Alright, we're back. It's been a huge day. It's actually the night time right now. I had so much work on today, but I was so excited all day to get the 280ZX done and to get to work on it. And I'm finally here, which is mint. So we have gotten our P rubber, which I'm pumped about. So we've got 6 meters of it, which is sick. At Clark Rubber, for anyone that's wondering about this stuff here in Australia. Don't know where else you'd get it or anywhere else in the world, but so awesome stuff. Our flares have dried beautifully. Looks super nice, so can't wait to bolt them on. I'm going to do the front one first. So without any more delay, let's chuck this front flare on and see how it's all going to come together. Hell yeah. I'm going to be honest with you guys, fitting these flares, not easy, very finicky, very difficult, time consuming. That literally took me half an hour just to fit this one flare with the rubber behind it, but in saying that, so worth it, because this is how it looks. And that, I'm sorry, but just looks amazing. Wow. That P rubber worked a million times better, but it looks so good. Oh, that come up nice. Jesus, look at that. Oh man. Yeah, I'm pretty sold on the look. Obviously the flare's super shiny because we painted it and the rest of the car really needs a clean. But that, you can't be mad at that. That looks so nice. Whew, so I'll go ahead, I'm going to chuck the back flare on as well. And we'll kind of get a sense of how this whole thing looks together. But so good. So flare number 2 is done, and I've got to be honest with you guys, I was kind of unsure with the shape of these flares over the course of fitting them up and stuff like that, but now that they're painted that on, my mind is blown. It looks so good. So without further ado, this is how it looks. Whoo! Look at that. Holy crap. These flares look amazing. They've just taken the car to another level. I don't know what it is, maybe it's just, look, this is probably the first time in a while that I've been really happy with a job that I've done on one of my cars. It just looks so epic. That rubber lining that we put on really helped. The way that the flares fit with the ridge that they have on the side, just the fitment now on the car looks absolutely amazing. And just to give you a point of reference of how it looked last time, so this is how it looks now, and then the old setup. So this is what the old setup was like. So not terrible or anything like that, but it just looks so much tidier now, so much more complete. The flares are nice and even on the other side, whereas this side, you know, there's quite a gap between tyre and fender. And the way I fitted them up, I guess maybe wasn't the best, but it just looks kind of okay, but not complete, not finished, maybe a little bit tacky. Whereas this side, oh man, look at that, come on. Woo, that, I'm literally over the moon. So freaking cool, man. Someone did mention in the comments of the last video that I did on the Datsun that I should spray the center of the wheels black instead of having them gold. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I kind of did think about that a little bit, but I just feel like the gold and blue has become a little bit iconic on this car, the way it looks. Man, look at that. Seriously, this is one freaking good looking car. It has imperfections and whatnot, but that is just ridiculously cool. Woo! Just made me even more pumped to get this thing turbo, because it's just going to be just the perfect driver. And that's where we'll wrap it up for this video, guys. I hope you're enjoying the Datsun content. I'm just over the moon with this car. It's definitely leveling up, which is sick. And as I said in the middle of the video, the turbo parts are starting to roll in, man, and it's going to be crazy. I also bought a new turbo for this thing. It's another Pulsar turbo, G3660 or something or other we're putting on it. So we're going to put a new turbo on that, ball bearing, we'll take it to the dyno. We're going to wind a little bit more boost into it before the next round of Keep a Reap Battle Royale. So that's in the next couple of weeks. So look forward to that. If you enjoyed this video, guys, make sure you hit that like button. Obviously subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys in the next video where we continue to do stupid things to our automobiles. Cheers, guys. Peace.